So Amilcar Shabazz, I've known for a while, is a professor of history and Africana Studies in the W. Du Bois Department of Afro-American Studies. He's also served as the department's chair from 2007 to 2012. From 2013 to 2016, he was the faculty advisor to the Chancellor for Diversity and Excellence. His work as co-editor of the 40 Acres documents was one of the earliest scholarly works in the modern movement for reparations for slavery and the racial oppression of people of African descent in North America. And he also was a great, great friend to Ray Elliott.
You ready for me to go?
Yes, go for it.
When I say race, you say amity. Race.
Amity.
Race.
Amity.
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 We have to unmute people.
Ray would always say, I think Ray liked when I dropped into the space because he knew I was coming with the spirit. I come in the spirit, through the spirit, and I think that was uplifting to him. And no, certainly he was uplifting to me. You know, his insistence that we are one human family was not a new idea for me. I've been wrestling with that idea. I told him my own journey and how I had been to Evanston, and I spent the summer of '79 in Evanston as an undergraduate economics major. I was at an American Economics Association summer research program on the campus there at Northwestern University, and we were shown, myself, my other cohorts in the group were shown the temple in Wilmette. And I was just so impressed. When we had free time, I would go there. I would just sit and look up and look around and feel the spirit of the space. And it inspired me from going to that temple, that beautiful space I pursued the teachings of Baha'u'llah and just reading on my own and engaging and trying to as I say, grapple with this idea that we are one human family and what's the implication of that. And here and there, where my family have lived in Texas, we find the Baha'i community actually around Juneteenth in Port Arthur, Texas, and we'd march with them and on to Oklahoma, up here, Massachusetts. Then in 2007, and I soon after that meet Ray and Mary and everyone in the community and Ash. And I guess Mary would tell you that Ash, myself, and Ray, we were like the three amigos. When we get going, it's the Three Musketeers, man. And so we just story after story, idea after idea. I guess Joan can help fill that void, or Marita, because they're both so brilliant and gifted and philosophical. I appreciated everything I said before. But my relationship then with Ray was that I give tribute to, and I want to bring in this space, was the deep respect for his own personal history, to have served in the Second World War, a war about which I teach, a war about which I study. I'm writing a biography of a man who lived during that time, a newspaper editor, and tried to, through his newspaper, expose some of the injustices that African-American service members of the military service were enduring while fighting a war for democracy. Here they are fighting in this army to liberate Europe, save Europe for democracy, and they don't have democracy at home. We've got race riots. We've got people being killed, people being burnt out of their homes just on the basis of race. In my hometown of Beaumont, 1943, during World War II, as well as in a few days later in Detroit, around Juneteenth. And the whites saw Black people looking to have such a good time and having cars and nice clothes and being too happy, they rioted, destroyed my own family's businesses in the Black business district of Beaumont, a dry cleaners, a barbershop, Sweet Dream Barbershop shop. These are my own family members. They came from where my grandmother lived, my mother, her brother, my uncle, to bomb people out, to destroy them, to run them out, to kill them. So, you know, I grow up with this, with these kinds of experiences, and I think of Ray in the uniform, in the service. And I think to myself, wow, what a journey. What a journey. And then to come home and to, you know, continue to face the racism in the United States, but to persevere and to move on to study and chemistry and you know, work on the Apollo missions and just not let the racism define him, not let it define the human family. That's always it for Ray. It's about not letting racism define him, but also not letting it define the human family. We're bigger than that. We're better than that. And that's how we have to live. You know, going to Canada and studying there, and then coming back to the States and growing up in Cambridge. His father had himself served in World War I. You know, raising his family, raising and loving his grandchildren. He was such an example. And in 2015, you know, when I was serving on the school committee and had people spreading vicious lies against me, my own colleagues on the school committee, you know, Ray really helped to talk me down or talk me to a better space during those times. And he said, Shabazz, amity, amity, amity. And he put forward the bill. I was on town meeting. I was a ex officio town meeting from being on the school committee when the bill came through and Ray came out and said, let's have Race Amity Day. And you could see people listening. You could see people believing, people feeling what he meant by that and knowing that that was the right way. That was the right idea. So I won't go on too long in this tribute. I just give my love to Mary. I give my love to, you know, Ray's children, his grandchildren, to this whole community that embraced Race Amity Day. Ray's great idea, great contribution. And just one final thing I would say, you know, I had learned from John Bracey that a lot of the things, you know, we were taking on in 2012, Trevor and myself and Vera and others in the school committee. Ray had already been there with the district. Ray had in the NAACP, Pioneer Valley NAACP had the lawsuit to stop the tracking, to stop the racism in the schools. And John had told me that even before John Bracey, my colleague in the Afro-American Studies Department, had told me about that lawsuit, told me about what went down. That was long before I'd even gotten here. So I had to have respect for Ray, you know, and what he's endured and what he pushed through all his journey, all his 90 some odd years of life. A great life, one that we all do well to remember, to emulate, and to continue to lift whole. And I give thanks to everyone to give me a moment to lift that example up in this tribute. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, that's very moving. Moving. I wonder what Ray would say if he was here.
Well, you know,
He would say Hakuna Matata.
Ray will say something because a few weeks before he passed, he gave a talk which actually captures this persistent love that he had for that this transcended all of the kinds of problems that people have and and
Yes.
I'll just play it. I don't need to say anything more. Just a moment.
Well,
I think he would say Hakuna
I wanna thank
Matata. And
everybody
if
for
anyone knows him,
coming
he says it
today.
a lot.
My body says I can't be with you, but my spirit certainly will be with you today. And you know,
In honor of your
these type of
Ugandan roots,
gatherings, I always think
Kiswahili
of
roots.
everyone being like a homecoming, and your kinfolk, you know, we're all related and kinfolk. So we get to see each other. We haven't seen in a while. We get to form new relationships with kins, and we also get a chance to find out more about ourselves from talking with each other, and then you know that can lead to some meaningful relationships that might be even next door to you. You never know. So this is the way I always look at it when I come into any kind of gathering, that we're all one family, we're all related, as we all, and we'll get to know more and more about the power of the oneness of the human family. So then there's many different ways we can, you know, we don't talk too much nowadays about loving one another. It seems like we're a little shy about saying, well, I love you. In some ways, how we can say that. But, you know, you just look for something beautiful about a person, and forget about their bad related values or whatever they have, but just look for that beauty in them, you see, because everybody was created noble and beautiful, and just look for that beauty in them. It could be the way they smile, or the way they react with their character, their personality, their values, or anything. But you look for that beauty. And so this is really what Quran is about. Is finding new friends and relationships, and getting to know not just others, but everybody has a story, but also knowing more about ourselves. Because this is really, in the final analysis, it's about how we love one another. So that's how we can start with our relatives, our friends, or anybody. We just tell them, I love you. I love the way you smile. Yeah. So this is basically what Quran is all about, the power of love for one another. So thank you for coming in, and I wish you to be Hakuna Matata, always happy.